For generations, John Deere wasn't just a brand, it was a legacy. Those green and yellow machines were more than metal and horsepower. They were a symbol of trust between a company and the farmers who fed the world. But somewhere along the line, something went terribly wrong. A name that once meant freedom on the farm started to feel like a set of chains, locking farmers into a system they couldn't control. Stories of secretive software locks, skyrocketing repair costs, and farmers forced to hack their own tractors began to spread. Loyalty turned to outrage, and the very people who built John Deere's empire were rising up against it. John Deere has been a trusted name in American manufacturing for over a century. Farmers have relied on its high-quality machinery, proudly made in the United States. However, in recent years, the company has started moving some of its production overseas. In 2023, John Deere announced a $55 million investment in Mexico, shifting key manufacturing operations away from American factories. For thousands of American workers, this decision is devastating. Entire families and communities depend on these jobs to survive. Manufacturing plants often serve as the backbone of small towns where job opportunities are limited. Losing these jobs means more than just an economic setback. It disrupts lives, forces families to relocate, and can leave entire communities struggling. John Deere says the move is necessary to stay competitive. By shifting production to Mexico, the company can cut costs and maintain its position as a leader in the agricultural equipment industry. However, this decision has sparked outrage, particularly among workers and labor unions, who see it as a betrayal of American labor. John Deere is not the only company outsourcing jobs. This is part of a much larger trend in global manufacturing. Over the past few decades, companies have been moving jobs to lower-wage countries to save money. Factories in Mexico, China, and other nations offer cheaper labor, making it more attractive for businesses to move production overseas. Unions and worker advocates argue that corporations are prioritizing profits over people. They believe companies should stay loyal to the American workforce, even if it means slightly higher costs. On the other hand, businesses argue that staying competitive in a global market requires cutting costs wherever possible. If they don't, they risk falling behind competitors who are already manufacturing at lower costs elsewhere. This ongoing battle between corporate interests and worker rights has been a defining issue in American politics. It's a problem that doesn't have an easy solution. While protecting American jobs is important, companies also need to ensure they can remain profitable in an increasingly competitive world. Former President Donald Trump has built much of his political career around the promise of protecting American jobs. During his time in office, he took several steps to prevent outsourcing. He imposed tariffs on foreign imports, renegotiated trade deals like NAFTA, now the USMCA, and publicly pressured companies to keep their operations in the U.S. Many of his supporters saw him as the only leader willing to take on big corporations and foreign competition. His strong stance on American manufacturing won him loyalty, particularly from blue-collar workers in industrial states. However, despite his efforts, outsourcing has continued. John Deere's decision to move jobs to Mexico raises a key question. Can any administration truly stop outsourcing? Trump has been vocal about punishing companies that move jobs overseas, but even under his leadership, businesses continue to shift production abroad. This suggests that the issue is more complex than just enforcing tariffs or making public statements. With the 2024 election approaching, Trump faces pressure to take a stand against John Deere's move. His base expects him to fight for American workers, just as he promised in the past. If he stays silent, it could raise doubts about his ability to follow through on his promises. At the same time, Trump has to be careful about how he approaches this issue. John Deere is a massive company with significant influence in the agricultural industry. While he could publicly criticize the company, taking strong action, like imposing penalties, might not be easy. This situation presents a real test for Trump. If he acts decisively, he could strengthen his image as a defender of American jobs. But if outsourcing continues under his watch, critics may argue that his policies are not enough to stop companies from leaving. Many experts argue that stopping outsourcing entirely is nearly impossible. The global economy is interconnected, and businesses will always look for ways to cut costs. However, there are steps the government can take to make it more attractive for companies to keep jobs in the U.S. One potential solution is offering tax incentives to businesses that manufacture domestically. If companies get financial benefits for keeping jobs in America, they may be less likely to move production overseas. Additionally, investing in worker training programs can help American workers stay competitive in a changing job market. If businesses have access to a highly skilled workforce, they may feel less pressure to outsource. Another approach is improving infrastructure and supply chains within the U.S. Many companies move production abroad because it is cheaper and more efficient. By making domestic manufacturing more efficient, the government can help businesses find alternatives to outsourcing. While these strategies can help, they require long-term planning. Quick fixes like tariffs or public pressure may slow outsourcing temporarily, but they don't address the root causes of why companies choose to move jobs abroad. John Deere has defended its decision, arguing that outsourcing is necessary for survival in today's market. The company insists that shifting some production to Mexico will allow it to stay competitive and continue serving customers effectively. From a business perspective, this argument makes sense. If John Deere can reduce costs, it can offer lower prices and maintain a strong position in the global market. However, for American workers, this reasoning is not enough. Workers feel abandoned by a company they have helped build. They have spent years, sometimes decades, contributing to John Deere's success, only to see their jobs disappear. Many believe the company should prioritize the American workforce instead of focusing purely on profits. This tension between business strategy and worker loyalty is at the heart of the outsourcing debate. Companies need to stay competitive, but workers need job security. Finding a balance between these two interests is one of the biggest challenges in modern manufacturing. As the 2024 election draws near, the issue of outsourcing is becoming a key topic once again. Trump's response to John Deere's decision could have a major impact on his campaign. If he takes strong action, it could rally his supporters and reinforce his reputation as a defender of American jobs. But if outsourcing continues without resistance, it could weaken one of his biggest political selling points. Beyond Trump, the future of American manufacturing remains uncertain. The U.S. needs long-term strategies to keep jobs in the country while allowing businesses to remain competitive. This requires cooperation between the government, corporations, and workers. The debate over outsourcing is far from over. As companies continue to seek lower costs, American workers will keep fighting to protect their jobs. Whether Trump or any future president can truly stop this trend remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the fight for American jobs is not going away anytime soon. What do you think? Can John Deere make a comeback? Or have they gone too far to win back their customers' trust? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.